What's up, and welcome to today's edition of Two Dope Chicks, aka 2DC. I'm Kim.
And I'm Brea.
And as always, we have a very special show lined up for you guys. And without further ado, Brea, let's get popping.
All right, you guys. Today we have a phenomenal guest for you today. Actor, producer, director, public speaker. Welcome to the show, Mike Anderson. Everybody give him a warm welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Two Dope Chicks, Kim and Brea. I appreciate you all.
Welcome to the show.
Hey, welcome to the show. Now, you have a very interesting story where you were facing the death penalty, and I believe you also served out a 17-and-a-half-year life sentence, only to then come back to become an award-winning film producer. That's amazing. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And
I always say it's all God. It's all God.
I mean, that is an awesome story, and we thank you for bringing that story here to Two Dope Chicks, 2DC. But right now, we want to know a little bit about what led you on your path to serving that sentence. If you can divulge that information for us, what happened? What were you convicted of or falsely accused of? I don't really know the story yet, as far as that.
Sure. I actually, when I was a teenager back in the late 80s and 1990, I actually was getting involved with a lot of things dealing with criminal life, dealing with selling drugs and also selling weapons, selling guns, firearms and stuff. And my first charge in 1990 was a charge that involved a second-degree murder that happened at a party. After the high school that I had graduated from had a homecoming game, there was a party that followed that after the homecoming game. And one of the guns that I actually sold to somebody was used at that party that night. And since I was the person that was last seen with that gun from a witness that actually was involved with the first case that I'm talking about, that was a witness, they saw me with this gun, but the gun had been sold prior to the shooting. And so when the murder happened, being that the witness was somebody that wasn't even involved with the party or nothing, there was like a second party person outside of the case because I was selling guns and they just happened to see that particular gun in the back of my car as well. They went ahead and reported that they felt like it was me. So I got picked up for second-degree murder for the shooting that happened at this party late at night. Now, mind you, this same victim, the guy that got killed, happened to be struck by 5 different bullets. So there was a whole lot of craziness going on already, but I was the only person that was actually charged with second-degree murder. I was given a $25,000 bond. I posted bond within 2 to 3 days. Of course, like I said, I was in the streets, had a little bit of this, and then along with the help of my mother who put up the house, I was able to come home on that second-degree murder charge. But as I came home on that second-degree murder charge that I didn't do, and I wasn't snitching, I wouldn't run my mouth and tell them who it was that I sold the gun to, who it was that I knew who had did it. I mean, I was at the party that night, so they, of course, put me at the party. I didn't have an alibi that said I wasn't at the party, so that made me even look even guiltier. So as I was out on bond, they kept coming at me, trying to say, hey, we heard there's some foul play going on here now, but if you let us know what's going on, then we could take these charges up off of you. And, me being the dude that I was, real loyal to the streets and not wanting to even run my mouth, I was the type of person, don't snitch. So I didn't. But while I was out there, I did the dumbest mistake of staying in the streets. I felt like my life was over with. Hey, here I am charged with a crime that I didn't do. I know they're going to pin me some kind of way. I'm going to get some kind of time. I'm already in these streets. So stay out in the streets. Stayed out in the streets. Kept hustling, selling drugs, selling guns. And before you know it, 7 months later, a major situation happened where some of my drugs that was being sold by my girlfriend at that time, her older brother, was selling for me, and he got caught up in a situation where they robbed him of the drugs, and after they robbed him of the drugs, it turned into a fight. The fight escalated into a shootout, and the reason why it escalated into a shootout is because they pulled guns out first, and then before I know it, my life, my best friend's life, and some other lives were threatened. And as I somewhat retreated, because we retreated, but they followed us around the corner. We retreated. They still had the guns. I went into my car, grabbed a gun, out of fear of our lives. When I grabbed a gun and I heard a gunshot go off, and then I looked behind me and I saw my best friend laid out with blood coming from the direction of his head. So quite naturally, of course, I thought somebody shot him.
Mm-hmm.
I reacted by pulling my gun up in the air, and before you know it, I saw two people with guns aiming at me. I somewhat just blanked out and started pulling the trigger, and I pulled the trigger till I heard my gun go click. And once I heard my gun go click, my eyes opened back up somewhat, and I looked, and there was somebody laid out, and then the crowd had dispersed. Now it was like 17 of them against 5 of us. And when the crowd had dispersed, I looked up and I was just like, wow, this is crazy. And I could tell that the guy that was laying there, he was lifeless. So I ended up shooting 2 people that day. One person died, the other person didn't. And it was all based on, just me being in fear of my life, like I said, my best friend's life, and just being caught up in one of the silliest situations. It was for a minor amount of drugs. But back then, in the 80s and the 90s, respect was one of the things that we lived for and, of course, died for, So it just escalated into something that shouldn't have never happened, the loss of another young black man and potentially another one, but the other one never died. He made it. He survived. So they locked me right back up and charged me with first-degree murder, attempted murder, and then the shooting in an occupied dwelling because some of the bullets from my gun hit some houses behind us. So they had to give me all those charges. So by the age of 18 and 19, I was facing the death penalty plus life plus 60 years.
Wow.
I had second-degree murder, first-degree murder, and attempted murder. I waited in jail for 3 years waiting for trial till they finally came at me and said, look, if you want to escape the death penalty and not get executed, you're going to have to take a plea bargain for life. So I took a plea bargain for life just to escape the death penalty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think most people would have probably chosen.
And I was young. I was young and afraid. I didn't want to lose my life. I had a little brother that really, really looked up to me, and then my mom. It probably would have crushed her.
Right.
So I didn't want to put my hands into the hands of my life into the hands of the system.
Yeah.
That would have been a horrible thing to do.
Now, real quick, what state was this in?
North Carolina.
Okay.
North Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
and I know you have a really inspiring story as far as where you came from, but I kind of want to flash forward into when you got out, you got into the film industry. How did that happen? Did you always have a passion for the film industry? Was it always a passion of yours, or did that develop while you were serving time?
It's crazy. I have to flash back now while you flash forward. With that being said, when I was in the streets and, first started out, selling crack and stuff like that, a crack fiend had came up with one of those old school cameras that you put the whole VCR tape in. Mm-hmm. And everybody was laughing at him. I'm like, man, get out of here with that. And I'm looking at him like, nah, come here, let me see that. So he comes towards me with the camera, and I end up giving him, two quarter rocks for it. And I took the camera, was playing around with it, just was fascinated by it, then turned around and filmed a little short fake karate movie with my friends out there, and and just kind of like played with the camera once in a while, filming things, filming stuff with my little brother, and then doing other things. But then after I became incarcerated, of course, that camera wasn't in my hand anymore. But while I was on the inside, I would always catch myself kind of like, having a sense of urgency to have that camera in my hand. And I transferred it to writing while I was in there, and I just started writing, doing a lot of writing. I was writing poetry. I was writing plays. I spent 17 and a half years in there. I searched myself and dug deeper and deeper inside of me and found out that, yo, I'm a writer, I'm a performer. You know, I put some of the plays on in prison for other
Right.
inmates to watch, and had some of the inmates involved, and then just kept writing and writing and writing and just performing and doing talent shows and everything. I mean, even I had a rap group where we won 5 years in a row, and we called it the Prison Grammy. Where we won 5 years in a row. And I mean, even Big Tigger was talking about me on Rap City and showing my
Oh,
trophy
wow.
on Rap City. So then when I got out in 2008, and I was coming out to Kroger, and I bumped into a familiar face. And I said, yo, Play, what's up? And it happened to be Christopher Martin, Play from Kid and Play. So he was like, oh man, he's like, what are you doing now? I was like, well, working with my boy. We got a restaurant, you know, going to try to start and open up a new restaurant. And he's like, yo, I do this thing called Brand News. I want you to come, you know, holler at me if you're interested. He gave me the address. You know, it took a while because I was getting familiar with cell phones, you know what I'm saying? So he had to text me the address, and texted me the address, and then took me into his whole outfit and operation, and then started using me as a journalist, a news reporter for Brand News TV, and then also put the camera in my hand one day when I had to film for him at a music conference that we had for Radio One, and I just started filming, and I realized I needed that camera back in my hand
Right.
because I felt great, and I knew this was my route. I knew it was
Right.
my route.
Yep.
So once he put that camera back in my hand, I graduated from YTU and GU, which is YouTube University and Google University. So I took myself to school and started learning the angles and everything I needed to do, and just kind of like taught myself, then taught myself a little bit of editing, and just threw myself out there into the arena. And before you know it, I was being pulled into different projects. One thing led to another. I started shooting music videos. Then I got pulled into another project. I pulled into the Ferguson documentary that was on BET. Some of my footage was in that. I was a cinematographer for that. And then I started being given bigger projects. I shot my short film in 2011, my first one. It was called Stray, which is showing truth, reaching all youth. That's the acronym. It was about a bullet stuck inside the head of a drug dealer. Won a lot of awards for that at different film festivals. And then I realized, yo, this is the direction you need to go. And then I even jumped into the acting arena because I remember I caught the acting bug when I was in kindergarten. I played Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer, in the play. So ever since then, I knew I had it, yo. You know what I'm saying?
That's an important character.
Yeah, it is. He's the misfit, and I related to him because I was like a misfit growing up. You know, I was always like a misfit. I was the black sheep out of the family, the black sheep out of the hood. Grew up in a domestic violence plagued household, and I always felt ashamed when I went to school because every day or every night ended in my father, you know, beating the hell out of my mom, a lot of screaming going on, the cops coming to the house. So I felt like a misfit. I felt like Rudolph with the red nose, you
Right.
know. But, you know, I knew that was a gift also inside of me, like there was in Rudolph. So, you know, I went into acting too, and I started getting picked for TV shows on TV One and on ID. And then one thing led to another, ended up in a movie with Vivica Fox, and then ended up playing a lead role for this TV show that shoots down in Atlanta called Music and Murder. And one thing led to another with that, and that became a pastime for me. So,
Yeah. Wow. All right.
but I believed in myself, which was most importantly. I believed in myself. I knew I had the gift, and I knew I had a new example to set
Right.
for the at-risk youth. Because when I came home, I also started mentoring um, adjudicated youth. And I got my own nonprofit, started doing gang intervention. And once people started hearing about me, I got picked up to do public speaking. And then different people started reaching out to me. Barack Obama's My Brother's Keeper Speakers Bureau, I got attached to that. Then I got attached to the Black Caucus meetings where I was out there speaking about mass incarceration and juvenile incarceration and the school to prison pipeline. So I really got involved with that because that's my number one passion. You know, I never
Right.
forget from where I came from.
Well, I mean, I just personally wanted to know. Now I see that you have you wrote and produced your own biopic. Is that correct?
Yes, I did. I did. I actually wrote, shot, directed, and produced my own biopic, and it stars Joshua Gunn, who's a dope MC out of the Durham, North Carolina area, but he's been seen abroad under people like Damian Dash, MC Light, and all them.
Okay.
And he plays me actually,
Oh wow.
and then it's also starring Hawthorne James, Red from Five Heartbeats, um, Oba Babatunde, who plays Shamar Moore's father
Yeah.
on SWAT. He plays an agent that reached out to me from LA back in the day, and then got me to speak at the BET experience in Los Angeles. You got Shaw Jackson, she's in there. She plays one of my prison counselors.
Okay.
You got Petrie Bird in there, which is Bird from Judge Judy. He plays the older version of my father. My son plays me when I was young.
Oh,
He did a
wow.
great job. Yeah, he did a great job in that. And I'm quite sure when we take this break, people will be able to see the trailer.
Okay, guys, we're gonna take a quick look at the trailer, A Polished Soul by Mike Anderson.
Look, we got orders to keep you in admin seg until one of your victims leave the yard.
Yo, are you serious? Yo, come on, man. How long I gotta be in here, bro?
Until you get out.
Jackie Butler, I'm a parole officer.
It all started when I was little and in the hospital, and I almost died when the devil came to visit me. And then my father introduced me to the almighty gun.
Now, Mikey, don't do nothing stupid, boy.
After that, life got crazy.
Damn, it's slow as hell out here, man.
For $150, I'll let you get this 38.
What you gonna do with that old Glock?
Oh, that's already spoken for.
That's him. I got it.
Mike Anderson.
Hell yeah, nigga. Hey, yo, the block been good to me, for real.
Mike, turn around. Face away from me, put your hands in the air, nice and slow, interlock your fingers.
Somehow, I survived.
The key is, know your board. Feel me? In other words, know your surroundings. Trust nobody.
I've been watching you. You move a little different than everybody else.
Guess that's a compliment.
I see it. Give me the banger.
It could help you think a little bit different.
My name is Michael Rae Anderson, and I am a polished soul.
Hello. May I speak to Mike Anderson, please?
Okay. Well, I also heard you're gonna have be doing a red carpet. So, can you tell us or tell our viewers any additional details, like where and when they can catch you on the red carpet? I'm sure it'll be somewhere probably around November.
So what's going to happen? Yeah. What's going to happen is we're going to, and this is all still up in the air, whether it's going to be at a brick and mortar venue or if it's going to be virtual, because we're not sure, what the situation is going to be with Corona still in that part. And that's flu season and all, whatever, virus season and all of that. So we're not. Hopefully and prayerfully, we don't go through this second wave of what they say is new strains of Corona. But if we do, then it'll be virtual. And I feel like we could pull off a virtual red carpet with no problem. That actually might be a little bit more easier on the budget. ain't gotta worry about no flights, no hotels, or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? And everybody will hopefully have a red carpet in their house. I'll send them a strip.
If you like me,
a strip of a carpet. Huh?
If you like me, Rona needs to get the hell on. Like
I know, right?
For her.
yeah. It has really dampened the industry a lot, and but at the same time, I'm gonna be honest with you, it leveled the playing field. Like some of us that you would have probably never heard of in the major theaters, you're gonna hear about us in streaming now because we have content, and we're producers that or have the same potential as your typical usual producers that you see in the theater. So nowadays, it has leveled the playing field. It has given everybody a platform, for everybody to turn into the George Lucases or the Tyler Perrys. Billy and Joe can now become the same thing, and which is a great thing. It's a blessing, but there's always a gift and a curse with everything that comes.
How'd you end up becoming a spokesperson? So can you tell us that?
Yeah. As I was saying earlier, that I had formed a nonprofit, and the nonprofit is called Polished Souls Foundation Incorporated. Polished Soul is something that came up in my head one night when I was in prison, and I just came out of nowhere and just wrote this little itinerary for what I think I would do if I came home. And I first got interested in speaking when I took Toastmaster classes in prison. See, because while I was inside for 17 and a half years, I didn't waste my time. I stayed in school 13 of those 17 and a half years, got 2 college degrees, 9 different vocational trades, and took also help yourself courses on the side. And Toastmasters was one of them. And when I found out I had the gift to speak, I kind of I like this. And I became the spokesperson for the Scared Straight program on the inside. And then I also became the spokesperson for the volunteer appreciation banquets. So I would do all the speaking for inmates on behalf of the inmates. And after all of that, when I came home, I had a few interviews that I did with the news. And so the interviews that I did with the news, and not just the news, but different talk shows and stuff, I actually had a lot of things that people would seek out and then hire me for different speaking engagements at churches. Then after the churches, it kind of evolved into Barack Obama's My Brother's Keeper Speakers Bureau, Black Caucus meetings, and then it started going to a national level. And I was being targeted to be the speaker for mass incarceration, juvenile incarceration, and the school to prison pipeline.
Awesome. I just want to say to you, thank you so much for blessing us with your story. It's an amazing story. And, I always like to tell people that life teaches the best lessons. And I want to say to you that you're definitely a living testimony. Keep blessing people. Thank you for blessing us with this interview. And Brea, what you got for me?
So definitely. I mean, Kim said it perfectly. Life teaches you the best lessons. I always relate to that when someone said, pregnant, giving birth hurts. Well, you don't know until you know. Until you go through it. So, but
I can imagine it's like passing a kidney stone, but go ahead.
Hey guys, we wanted to let the viewers know that you have been so gracious. If you can hold up the autobiography that you have.
Oh, sure. This is my autobiography that some lucky viewer is going to get blessed with an autographed copy of it. And for those of you that don't get blessed with the autographed copy of it, you can find it on Amazon. It is A Polished Soul, the Mike Rae Anderson story. And it is available on Amazon.
So basically, all you guys have to do is, after you see the show, share it or repost it. And you guys are going to have to do 3 tags, okay? So it's going to be hashtag Mike Rae, R-A-E, Anderson, hashtag A Polished Soul, and hashtag 2 Dope Chicks. The first one we see to do this, 2 Dope Chicks. The first person we see to do this, we are going to give you this autobiography that's a signed copy from Mike Rae Anderson.
All right.
And I will definitely dedicate it to whoever the winner is. So once they find out who the winner is, I will sign it to you. Ooh. And then we'll get it going into transit to make sure you get it and read it. Now, don't put it on the shelf and let it collect dust, or don't use it to kill flies, or use it as a coaster for your beer or nothing like that. You read this book, because I go all in on this. The movie is an embellishment. This right here, though, I let it all out from age 6 all the way till, present day. So.
Wow. Okay, how much did it go for on Amazon?
What happened?
Sorry.
Oh, I was just saying, I want that book myself. I'm about to create an account. I'm about to hashtag like crazy. Maybe I'll win it, because I need that book in my life. Oh, man.
That's conflict of interest. You can't do that.
Damn.
Damn.
And for anyone who is interested in buying the book, how much does it go for? Do you know the price that they're selling it for right now?
It sells on Amazon, I want to say between $16.95 and $18.95. Then you can get the e-copy for like $7.99, which is a Kindle copy. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
And
popping those.
yeah. Oh God. So look, hey, we are so excited to have you on the show. Thank you so much. Do you have any shout outs? Anybody that you didn't mention that you want to go ahead and
Sure. Man, I just want to shout out all the brothers and sisters on lockdown. Keep your head up. Your day is going to come. Stay positive, do positive things, engage in positive involvements. And I want to give a shout out to all the people out there that think that regardless of how hard they fall, they can't get back up, because in all actuality, you really, really can. And I mean, you just gotta dig deep inside of yourself, find out who you are first.
Yeah.
And then that way you could come back and represent who you are in the best positive light.
I like
awesome words to live by. So we like to end our show, Mike, with a tiny segment called the sippy cup. Have you been drinking on anything today? Have you been sipping on anything while we've been talking?
Even if it's
have I been
water.
sipping on anything? No, I was trying to keep it professional. I could have, but not. I haven't had my daily mimosa yet, but you know how that goes. But
okay.
But no, I mean, one of the things that I do start off my mornings with is at least 3 bottles of water, natural spring water, and then after natural spring water, I have a tendency to, do my next 2 or 3 bottles later on. So I do a lot of water, but when it comes to my drinks, when I want to relax, I'm a Tito's guy. I'm gonna be honest.
That's
I'm sorry, I got excited because that's my favorite drink, and I like a little Tito's with my orange juice. You know,
that's what I'm talking about. That's my mimosa. That's my mimosa.
I'm sorry.
You just made her day.
I said that backwards. I like a little orange juice with my Tito's.
There you go. Just a splash, like the guy that does that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's what I was sipping on. So Brea,
oh wow.
How about yourself?
I'm just, I'm gonna keep it simple. A little Merlot, because really that's all I have.
Merlot. That's what I drink at night. Merlot when I go to bed.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, it's nice and relaxing. Usually I save it for the evening, but that's all I really had. So this is what I'm drinking on.
Yeah, let me find out. I drink what 2 dope chicks drink all the time.
Of course.
Yeah, what you got? What do you got?
I just said I like a little orange juice with my Tito's. So it's the perfect breakfast. Just pour a little orange. I'm in a little Tito's in my orange juice, and
it's a good smoothie. It's a good smoothie.
Exactly. I'm getting my vitamins. I'm getting my vitamin C and everything. You can't beat that.
Everything. And you got a potential COVID-19 vaccine involved with that, alcohol.
Exactly. Yep. All right, Mike. Well, thanks again. We really appreciate you for blessing us with this interview. You have an amazing story, and we are so thankful that you decided to share it with us. Once again, everybody, thank you guys for watching. Tune in to 2 Dope Chicks podcast every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Facebook. And until then, you guys have a great week. We appreciate you, and bye.
Peace.
And now for a quick look at some of our products for a few of our sponsors.